What a game, ladies and gentlemen. That game was one of the most exciting games I've seen in a while. That game is going to go down in history. It's probably one of my favorite game ones of NBA Finals, or one of my favorite NBA Final games in a very, very, very long time. That was an action-packed game. As a fan of basketball, that's exactly what you ask for when we get to this level of basketball, with everything on the line, the stakes that this is containing. Man, I'm flabbergasted. I don't even know where to start. I don't have an intro. First and foremost, I'll say this. I watched every single minute of that game. I have a binder in front of me. I have a mini notepad in front of me, and I've took notes throughout the entire course of the game. I started with matchups, who's guarding who, the type of defense that they're running. Are they switching? Yeah, they're switching. What they're looking for with the switches. I'm writing down the split actions that the Warriors are running. How much success they're having. I'm looking at the offensive rebounds they're getting with Kevon Looney, Andrew Wiggins, and the success he's having defensively. Tatum is struggling. Marcus Smart came out of the gate knocking down some shots. Derek White was an early big factor, taking advantage of all of the opportunities and looks that the Warriors were allowing him to have. And I'm just looking at the game. I'm watching the Warriors control the game for the first three quarters. Though they controlled the game, I will give credit to the Celtics. They stayed around just enough and never allowed themselves to fall too far back out of the game within that first half. And the third quarter, it seemed like the Warriors were escaping away just a little bit. But then you start the fourth quarter, and this is why basketball is such a beautiful sport in totality, just in general. Because all of these things that I wrote down, all the advanced metrics and all of the numbers and things, the stats that we have coming into the series about how the Warriors are such a great offense in the fourth quarter. They play their best basketball from an offensive standpoint in the fourth quarter. The Celtics, as good as a defense that they are, their worst defensive quarter happens to be the fourth quarter. All of these crazy things that we come into game one and we see the exact opposite, where the Warriors don't look their best in the fourth quarter. They looked absolutely awful, and everything that they did in the prior three quarters just looked like it never happened. And then on the flip side, the Celtics played their best quarter of basketball and their best offensive quarter. These guys came out of the gate 7 for 7 from three in the fourth quarter. The first 7 threes that they took, they made. They ended the game with going 9 of 11 or 9 of 12 from three. 9 of 12 from three. They scored 27 points in the fourth quarter just from three. That's not even the full amount of points they scored in that quarter. Just from the three-point line, they scored 27 points. I'm trying to get everything in front. So they scored 40 points in the fourth quarter to Golden State's 14. Golden State, up to that point, won the first quarter and the third quarter, where they scored 32 and 38 points respectively, and then they drop off in the fourth quarter to 16 points. Again, this is a team that up to this point, had played their best offensive basketball in the fourth quarter. And they score a whopping 16 points compared to the Boston Celtics scoring 40. At one point, the Boston Celtics went on a 17-0 run. 17-0 run in Golden State against that high-powered offense, against that good defense that they have. They scored 17 straight points. I think that's going to be something that's going to sting for we're talking about the Golden State Warriors. This is one of the best offenses, one of the best systems, so many moving parts. And for them to be rolling the way that they were for the first three parts of this game, the first three quarters, it's literally mind-scratching. I literally don't even know what I just watched. I'm at a loss for words right now. Much credit to the Celtics. Again, they had the balls to stay in it throughout the course of the game, even with Jason Tatum having one of his worst games all playoffs, 12 points I believe he had, but he stayed in it. Ended up having 13 points, winning and being effective with the pass. It was something I've talked about. Watching the evolution of him being able to win with the pass has been incredible. But shout out to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown came out of the gates for the Boston Celtics in that fourth quarter, really stepped up and really set the tone for them early. And it started off with a 7-0 run that I think ended up, being the Kickstarter to the 17-0 run. It started off with a mid-range pull-up, I believe he had. Then he had a contested 3 over Draymond. Then he had a lob to Robert Williams. Quick 7-8-0 run. Warriors timeout. Cut the lead to about 4. Then the next thing you know, Al Horford hit a 3. Derek White hit a 3. Al Horford with another 3. Now they got a 3-point lead. Al Horford with a mid-range jumper. Jaylen Brown with a dunk. It was just play after play after play after play, and the Warriors come down on the other end and they just can't get a bucket. Charge here on stuff, miss 3 there, turnover here, turnover there. Just one of the craziest fourth quarter meltdowns that I've seen in a while, especially from the Warriors. I don't think I've ever seen a fourth quarter meltdown like that from the Golden State Warriors, especially seeing how they played and controlled the first 3 quarters. Now I do have, like I said, I have notes. They don't mean as much, because that fourth quarter kind of took everything that happened prior to the first 3 quarters and kind of just threw it in the trash. Like, none of this stuff matters. But it was definitely interesting early on to see the Celtics playing drop coverage on Steph Curry. It was really good to see him take advantage of that and not hold back. 21 points in the first quarter. Magnificent. I really did like the initial strategy for the Warriors defensively, where they lived with certain guys taking certain shots. Marcus Smart, shout out to him. He stepped up. He made shots. Derek White stepped up and made shots. But there were certain guys on the Celtics where the Warriors not necessarily left or allowed to have wide open looks, but they were helping on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, the guys like that, and just felt fine recovering to the shooters when the ball was rotated or they had a kick out. And early on, it was working, where the Celtics would make shots. And it felt like the Celtics made enough shots to remain in the game and give themselves a chance down the stretch. But you could still see the Warriors being able to not allow Jason Tatum to do anything that he wanted to do. And in turn with that, he really struggled. One of the things I also looked at throughout the first 3 quarters was the Warriors getting the offensive rebounds. That was something that I felt like had the Celtics kind of out for the count. And around the third quarter, I really started to feel like the Warriors had this game signed, sealed, and delivered, because I seen Kevon Looney have about 2 or 3 possessions, 2 or 3 offensive rebounds in one possession. And that, to me, felt like it was deflating and starting to add on to the Boston Celtics and really, really hurt them. The switching I liked from the Warriors early on, because I felt like it made the Celtics feel the need to attack Curry. And there was a couple of times where they got the switch where Curry is on Tatum and Tatum is posting up and he's trying to back him down and get what he wants to get. You got Wiggins sliding over for Marcus Smart. And on one of those plays, Marcus Smart hit a highly contested 3. Shout out to Jason Tatum for the patience and allowing the defense to fully commit to him before getting the ball out. But I felt like those were the shots where the Warriors were like, that's okay. They'll have to beat us with a Marcus Smart heavily contested 3-point shot, and we'll live with the results of that. But I feel like guys like Derek White, guys like Marcus Smart, and guys like Al Horford stepping up and not hesitating and having the cojones to let those shots fly were big time, because in the fourth quarter, they really reigned and they made, and that's the game of basketball for you. That's why anytime you're on the basketball court, especially as a professional, a guy like Derek White, a guy like Marcus Smart, you have to be confident in your game, because anybody can make shots. And once you get going and you start stringing, you never know. You go 7 for 7. I literally could not draw this up. I could not have seen this coming, where the Celtics would come out on a 17-0 run, started by going 7 of 7 from 3. The first 7 threes they made in the fourth quarter were all money. The first miss was 6 minutes left. Peyton Pritchard missed a wide open 3, and by the grace of God for the Warriors, he missed it, because it was a wide open, clean look. I don't even know how he missed it. He's usually money. But then they went 7 for 8. That was their first miss. And on while you're making these shots, on the flip side, the Warriors can't buy a basket, and they were looking extremely bad. Everything in my notes really is in favor for the Golden State Warriors, because they did control the basketball game for a big portion of it. I will say 6 to 8 from 3 for Al Horford, the most makes in a final debut from 3. Insane. 51% as a team from 3. 50% from the field. They shot 50, 50, and 80 from the free throw line. Insane. Some quick numbers. You got Tatum struggling from the field, but still gave you 13 assists. Like I said, Jaylen Brown, 24, 7, and 5. The 24 points, high-powered, kick-started that big 17-0 run. Al Horford with 26 points. I mean, in the fourth quarter, it wasn't a shot he couldn't make. He shot from the top of the key, the corners from three, mid-range shot, and one layup to really seal the game and cap it off. Al Horford, my gosh, play MVP performance from him. He played like a Finals MVP right there. And did Derek White? We can't speak enough about Derek White. This is the guy that I talked about in the previous series. There was parts where he looked scared. He truly looked scared to be out there with his shot. And to see him make the adjustment to fully be confident in himself and his jump shot and to be able to see it pay dividends in a positive way for the Boston Celtics in game one was really a sight to see. Yeah, Robert Williams, 8 and 6, 4 blocks. And on the flip side, the Warriors, when you look at it, really outside of Curry, there was nothing that could really generate. And a lot of Curry points came in the first quarter. He had 34 points. 21 of those came in the first quarter, 0 points in the second quarter. The Warriors, I don't know. The turnovers came back and bit them. The Celtics ended up with 12 turnovers, and Golden State ended up with 14. So the Celtics win the turnover battle. Pretty even as far as free throws, 11 of 15 for the Golden State Warriors for 73%. 13 of 16 for 81% for the Boston Celtics. And then 6 blocks and 7 steals for the Celtics. And 8 steals and 6 blocks for the Warriors. Fourth quarter meltdown for sure. I'm gonna have to watch this game probably 2 more times. I'll probably watch it, put it back on again tonight. Probably watch it again tomorrow. We have 2 days between each game, so I got a chance to sit with this. I really need to go back and rewatch that fourth quarter. Because it's as a fan, no horse in a race. I did pick the Warriors to win in 6 because of the experience and the fact that they've been here 6 times over the last 8 years. But again, if I'm the Warriors, I'm sick to my stomach. There's no way we lose a game where Jason Tatum has 12 points and he shoots 3 for 17. He shot 17% from the field. He shot 17% from the field. And on the flip side, Curry shoots 12 of 25, 48%, and he shoots 7 of 14, 50% from 3, and he has 34 points. If I come into this game tonight and I told you it's 2 things I can guarantee. Tatum is shooting 3 of 17. He's going to have around 12 points. Steph Curry is going to have 34 on 7 of 14, 50% shooting from 3. You would go and take your house if you could, and you would bet it on the line. If I told you those were the only 2 guarantees I could give you, you would bet your house that the Warriors win that game with just that information. So now, if I'm Steve Kerr, if I'm the Warriors, I definitely don't panic. We've been here before. But we got to really go in and look and say, what went wrong? Because I'll let you know right now, just off watching in live time, I didn't see any adjustments. I saw the Celtics taking advantage of what the Warriors were giving them, which were threes that they thought, hey, we'll live with those guys. Those guys stepped up. Marcus Smart, White, and Horford stepped up and made big-time threes. Jaylen Brown, like I said in my finals preview that I dropped earlier today, which Robin was going to step up for their Batman in a significant way. And it was Jaylen Brown. Watching Jason Tatum struggle, not have the game that we all expected him to have. Jaylen Brown said, no problem. I step up in the fourth quarter, lead the charge, and Jason Tatum let him do his thing. Jason Tatum let the game come to him, struggling. He wasn't trying to force anything down the stretch when they were making a run. I see a lot of guys always do that. The main guy of the team, once the run starts happening, now he's forcing all type of shots, taking it amongst himself to finish off the game. But Jason Tatum allowed his teammates to continue to roll it. And yeah, man, you got to figure something out. Because if the Celtics can win and beat you while Tatum struggles this much with the defense that you played on, because the Warriors did do a good job, it's going to be a tough chess match to figure this team out. And I think it speaks volumes to the Celtics. And I said this on the stream earlier today. Game 1 was going to be a stealable game. But the worst thing the Warriors could do is lose it. You down 12 going into the fourth. Celtics. Warriors are up 12. The Celtics are down 12 going into the fourth, and they win the game by 12. It's a 24-point swing around. But to give a Celtics team that's young, never been to the finals, Horford, even though he's 36, never been to the finals, This is a new stage, and they were happy to be there. I feel like the Celtics were happy to be here. But the worst thing you could have done was now allow this team to get some confidence this early in a series, and really now in the locker room they're thinking, we happy to be here, but we actually can win this. We actually can win the NBA Finals. We actually can beat this juggernaut of a team that has this system, that has all this experience, this the dynasty, 6 of the last 8. We can really beat this team. Steph Curry, unanimous MVP. Draymond, Defensive Player of the Year. The Splash Brothers, the greatest shooting backcourt of all time. We really can beat this team. Draymond, nobody's ever beat us at our foot. That's a scary thing to give a team that's as talented and as good of a run they've been on all playoffs. That's a scary confidence to give them. If I'm the Warriors, I'm not panicking for sure, but I definitely am watching and studying this tape and figuring out how we eliminate some of the opportunities we gave up down the stretch in that fourth quarter. It may not even be a thing of adjustments. It may just be some shit where you just gotta play better. Like like I said, I'm gonna have to watch that game in that fourth quarter specifically 2 or 3 more times, because that was a whirlwind. In the blink of my eyes, the Warriors looked like they were headed into blowout land. To end up losing by double digits is mind blowing. We got a couple days till we play game 2 on Sunday. Couple of days of rest. I'm gonna go back, rewatch some things. I may make another video if I see anything crazy. This is one of my favorite games, man. I love being a fan of the sport, especially when my team isn't involved. Because if I'm a Warrior fan right now, I'm sick to my stomach. I probably can't even make this video if I'm a Warrior fan. If I'm a Celtic fan, I probably can't even make sense in the video, because I would probably be so happy and so on 10 that I wouldn't be able to even explain anything that I just seen. But to be a fan of the game with no horse in the race and just be able to enjoy good basketball, because we got 3/4 of that from the Warriors, and to see adversity, a team fighting through adversity, and to have that fourth quarter and you see guys step up like Derek White, because I was big on Derek White. He was like, man, you looking too hesitant. You gotta shoot, believe in your game. To see him do that as a basketball fan, that shit gives you chills. Great first game to kick off this series. I think we have hopefully another 6. But I'm not panicking or forgetting the fact that it's the first of 4. The Warriors are still the Warriors. And they're definitely not out of this. So I'll see you guys for game 2. Man, buckle in. It's going to be a long ride. I'm Pee Wee the Plug. This NBA Weekly. I will see y'all next time. I'm out. Peace.